22:24 through 26. But
Yes.
the one who had received $2,000 also came forward and said, Master, knowing you that you are a harsh man, reaping where you never sowed, and gathering where you did not win it. Now, alright, first off, that makes not much sense. He's kind of sucking up to him, but then he's like, you do this where you don't do this. How do you reap where you don't sow? The servant's kind of like sucking up and not very well making sense. You know, nobody reaps where they don't sow. He has his servants go out and reap, and they sow for him. He's also calling him a harsh man. God's got justice, but there's also grace. God will give judgment, but He's also got mercy. And he's kind of looking at God as his master here is like a vengeful God, vengeful master, and we can take that approach where we look at God as somebody who's out to get us, the painful. Many people have misinterpreted the Old Testament thinking that God is vengeful, but if you dig into it, you see how He gave him chance after chance after chance, showing him mercy before His wrath came. So this servant's kind of like one of them ones who think the God in the Old Testament is just wrathful. And this servant's similar to that. He's like, I didn't want to get in trouble with you. And oftentimes we may be more focused on getting in trouble that we don't focus on what we're actually supposed to do. We focus on what we're not supposed to do, and we miss out on what we need to be doing.
Oh, yes.
I was in fear, so I went and buried the $2,000 in the ground. Here you have what is yours. You want burying it. That's stupid, first of all. Luckily he was able to find the money. Probably the dumbest thing he could have done with it would have been buried it. And how he thought this was a good idea, I don't know. But there's certain things in aspects we convince ourselves when we're serving the Lord that's a good idea, but is awful. Some of the things we do because there's some motive behind it. Our sinful flesh motivates us to do something as silly as burying the money. Sometimes we feel like we're led to do something, and it's just us leading the way, or somebody else, not the Lord. And it makes as much sense as us burying the money in the ground, because really it amounts to nothing. It's only by following Him that it amounts to anything. So, verse 26. His master replied to him, Despicable and lazy slave, you know I reap where I do not sow, and gather where I did not winnow. So, he's telling him, you knew this. Deep down, people know there's God. It takes more faith to become an atheist than it does to admit there's a God. Now, people don't want to submit to Him. People don't want to come to Him. And this is what this man did. He knew there's a God. Just demons know there's a God. But they don't submit to Him as Lord. This man knew his master, knew about his master, but he didn't do what the master wanted him to do. You know, the Lord knew that he had opportunity, just like the others. He's given less, but he still had opportunity. The servant knew that he couldn't blame it on the other two. And oftentimes that's kind of what we do. We blame, well, they should have been doing it. No, when the Lord calls us to do something, He doesn't expect us to blame it on somebody else or have somebody else do it. Oftentimes, us not doing what we're supposed to do is because we're lazy and we're thinking of ourselves, and we don't want to submit